Good morning. Welcome to day 10. We have made it into double digits. Isn't that wild? So awesome. Today I want to talk about some specific feelings and a little bit about that. And also how sometimes it's hard to accept or understand, but it's okay to not be okay. Like, we're not always going to be okay, right? Like, we're not always going to feel good. And sometimes we have to accept that, right? Like, think of yin yang, balance. Everything in this world is a balance. So, if we want to know what good feels like, then in turn we have to know what bad feels like. So, we are going to have bad days. And I'm sure you're thinking, yeah, Miranda, fuck, they're all fucking bad days. So, like, can I just get a good day for once? Yeah, I mean, that's what we've talked about before, is how to make those good days. But when that doesn't work, when we are stuck in the bad days, when we're just feeling the way we're feeling, nothing's going to change it. We have to be okay with that. And we have to tell ourselves, and that's where this kind of change talk in our head comes in, right? Where we tell ourselves, like, it's okay. This is going to pass. You know what? It's one day that I feel like shit. I can handle this. And that's what it comes down to, is like, can I handle this or not? If the answer is no, do a very immediate emergency serious intervention. Something has to give, because if you can't handle it, you probably need to go to the hospital. You have to talk to somebody. You have to reach out, because that's where we start to get dangerous, right? That's where maybe some thoughts of self-harm start creeping in, things like that. So if the answer to the question, can I handle it, is no, seek help immediately. Most places have a crisis line. In my area, it's calling 211, and there's somebody available 24/7 to talk to. If the answer is yes, I can handle it, it's just really hard, then, I mean, good for you. I mean, you can take it and know that people care about you. I mean, even perfect strangers, anybody who's been through it before, they know and they care about you, and keeping that with you to kind of get through those darker days, right? Whatever you need to do to get by. And that's part of the four agreements we were talking about the other day, right? Like, always doing your best. And maybe that day your best is nothing more than staying in bed all day, right? Whatever it takes for you to get through it. Um, the important part of this whole thing, though, is to let yourself feel what you're feeling. So often we try to change what we're feeling. We want it to be different. And I mean, that's why people use, right? They either want to feel a certain way or they want to stop feeling a certain way. Maybe you just have to feel what you're feeling. Some of the big ones that I know we try to get away from are grief and trauma. There are not a lot of people that sit across from me that haven't gone through grief or trauma. I mean, obviously everybody has. That's a part of life, right? But whether or not they bring it up or it comes into conversation is another piece. So, grief and trauma, shame, all of these are the hardest ones for us to feel guilt. Um, but we have to let ourselves, right? We have to own it. We have to accept it. Okay, this happened. I'm gonna get through this. I may not fucking know how right now, but I'm going to get through it. And being really nice to yourself on these days, I can't stress that enough. There's been so many days where, like, the homework that I've assigned to my people is just do something fucking nice for yourself. Whether it's take a bath, take a nap, tell your thoughts to shut the fuck up for a half a second, and tell yourself in your head, like, it's okay. Maybe you did something. Maybe you're the reason for the grief or the trauma or something, and telling yourself it's okay and forgiving yourself. I mean, that's obviously a process that takes a little bit, but even for these moments to get through those days, it's okay to kind of change your thoughts and think about that while still experiencing the emotion, right? Um, Part of the hard part is knowing what it is that we're feeling. I think I talked about this in another video, where it's hard to identify. Like, we know if we feel good, we know if we feel bad, but what is the actual feeling? And really working on like pinpointing what those feelings are. You know what? I'm angry today. I am really fucking mad that I wasted this much of my life. I am fucking devastated that I hurt my family the way I did. I am so embarrassed that I stole from my friends. You know, things like that. And identifying what the emotion is. It's okay to feel those. It's a good thing if we're feeling those. It's when we shove them down and tuck them away and try to hide them where they come out in other ways. It's like a pressure cooker, right? Like, they sit and they stew inside of us. But if you don't let that pressure out every now and then, it's gonna fucking blow up. And that's how we are as humans. So we need to let it out. We need to identify it. We need to know what it is we're feeling and let ourselves be okay with feeling that. There's different things out there that people can do. It's hard to process trauma. It's a lot of people don't want to. They're like, I'm not digging into that shit. I don't want to. That's okay. You can still cope with it without having to actually address it. Finding things like identifying what about it affects your day-to-day life. Maybe you're scared to go certain places because of something that happened or certain people. And really kind of pinpointing. I mean, you'll notice a theme here about how everything is very fucking specific. We really have to pay attention to our lives and our thoughts and our feelings and the places we go and what's happening, and even like physical changes in our body when we do it, because then we know. It's like gathering research, right? For like any kind of big project, you're gathering all of this research so that you can lay it out and decide, all right, what is my best plan? You know what? I am not going to go to a store after dark because I was attacked at a store after dark, or I am not going to go to bars anymore because this and this happened, or certain things like that, right? We can set boundaries. We can find ways to make it feel better without having to dive into all of this shit if we're not there yet or ready. And I mean, this goes with other things. You know, coming out of addiction, it's really easy to be hard on yourself and to feel like a piece of shit and tell yourself that you're a piece of shit. And really changing that thinking, I would say it's even harder to feel the happy feelings. And those are what I want you to focus on. If you feel proud of yourself, fucking embrace it. Like, acknowledge it. Like, you know what? I am proud of me. I did earn this. I do deserve to feel happy. So, I mean, when it comes to feelings, you just feel them and let yourself. We don't have to get rid of them. We don't have to push them away. We don't have to do anything except experience them. And that's just us as humans, right? It's what we do. All right, that's enough of my rant for one day. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.